Ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 o'clock. We're on air. So welcome to the Chamber of Commerce's Candidate Forum night at the library. We want to thank the library for hosting us tonight. We also like to thank the local scene for doing the broadcast and all the pyrotechnics and the setting up of the equipment and everything. They do a great job. There's 3 young men out back here. I also want to thank Kevin Tocci from WATD's Monday Night Talk Show. He is going to be... Kevin Tocci is going to be our moderator tonight. He's going to decide... well, in fact, we'll get on to the rules in a minute. What I wanted to do... You're shaking your head. No? Okay. What I want to do first, however, is I'm acutely aware of the fact that we do a lot of events, but we never introduce ourselves and we never explain who we are. So I would like to, before we get going, spend about 5 minutes just introducing everybody and the people watching at home who the Chamber of Commerce are and what they do. So who are we? We are a collection of volunteers. Nobody gets paid. We all work together. Bit of AI there. So we all look the same, but we're not. We're all very different. Peter Brown, myself, Steve Curley, and Jill Doyle, we're the officers, and we have a legal and fiduciary responsibility to the state in everything that we do. And then the executive board, Leon Bilu, Sue Bollinger, John Brown, Mike Keeble, Kathy Keeble, and Amy Watts are all on the executive board supporting us. So what do we do? Well, here's just a handful of activities that we've undertaken in the last 12 months or are undertaking in the next few months. We either sponsor or we arrange these events. So we're very busy throughout the year working on these events. We try and get at least one social event per month where all the members are invited and members of the public are invited. So we promote these events. You're all welcome. Free cup of coffee, maybe a donut, who knows? So that's one of the things we do. We also get heavily involved with our companies that are part of the chamber in ribbon cutting. And in the last 12 months, we've had about half a dozen ribbon cutting events where we are responsible for organizing the select board and the state representatives to come. We had a fantastic Koopman Lumber, this one here, where we didn't cut a ribbon. They actually took a chainsaw and cut a 2x8, which was very exciting. But we had State Senator Sweezy and Lenatra came to that event. So we were very pleased with that. We also host a podcast. This is every week. We have various guests. We've done 36 now. It's been listened to over 200,000 times, not by individual people. 38% of all the viewership is for businesses, and 33% for the departments in town, and then we have the other specials in there. But we've had all the state representatives, the state senators, some of the bigger companies in town. So the gentleman far right? Thank you. Gentleman far right is Matt Demore, who is the grandson of the founder of Big Y. So he came and did a podcast with us. That actually turned out to be our #1 podcast. 19,000 people listened into that. The #2 podcast, interestingly, was the school one we did 2 weeks ago with Aaron Obie. In the top 5 is also the water, the food pantry, and where's Mike Kelby? The Arts Festival, that was #5. So it's a very varied podcast. But we also do live events like this. So we've done, most of you will remember, we've done infrastructure forums. We've done 2 of those. We did the workforce forum that focused on VOTEC. And we do candidate forums. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Peter Brown, who he's left the building. Peter? Peter? Mike? Oh, okay. So shortly, appearing from behind me will be Peter Brown, who would like to talk about our mission, and then we'll move on to the actual event. Huh? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one and only Peter Brown.
I didn't want to walk in front of you, so. We got some technical difficulties we're trying to fix. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was what's going on right here, right now. Yeah, so would you put it down? Thank you. We strongly encourage the vocational part of it. Being a vocational kid myself from Silver Lake, I was one of the last classes that graduated from, we're still together. And the problem we're having is trying to get kids for technicians. And we need to reinvest in this so that we can have kids that I could grow in my business like we did with my father. The other thing is the Affordable Homes Act. One of the biggest things that we see on our side is the economic development side through the chamber is the first thing they do when they come in and start looking at our town. They want to find out what our infrastructure is. They want to see what amenities that we have. And they want to see if their employees can live here affordably and go here and grow here. So one of the things that we try to achieve is the chamber has information for you so that you can get an informed decision. So when you vote or when you go to a town meeting, you know what's going on. What's happened now is that we're getting our information from places that are one-sided. The chamber has always been inclusive, and we try to tell both sides that you can be informed. The inception or the problem today, as you can see, and watching the Facebook groups and stuff like that, is that it's become people are taking sides politically instead of helping the people in the town of Pembroke. And we have to all come together. This is getting ridiculous. And watching that select board meeting last night proves that we need to fix this. So hopefully you'll get enough information out of tonight that we can give you an informed decision, so when you vote, you can vote your conscience and vote for the town of Pembroke. So thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you. So as with every candidates forum, let's start with the rules and the format that we're going to follow tonight. As I said, we have a moderator. I shall be reading the questions. Kevin Toshi will be moderating. I have told him he's only got 2 sentences to use. We've heard enough, time to move on. Or you haven't answered the question, but Kevin, you decide what you're going to say. So we're going to divide the forum into between the boards. Each candidate will have 2 minutes as an opening statement. Each candidate will have unlimited time to answer the question. Unlimited time. Kevin will decide when you've answered the question. We're going to allow rebuttals. One of the complaints that we had last year was I stopped a candidate from rebutting. He had had too many rebuttals, and I stopped him. We've decided you're going to get 2 rebuttals. Kevin will decide. If you say, I want to rebut that question, that's fine. If you want to rebut a second question, that's also fine. But once you've had 2 rebuttals, that's it. We have an amusing way of demonstrating those. Each candidate will have 1 minute closing statement. All the questions are from the town. They're all from the town. There's been no screening. There's been no edits. So if you see spelling mistakes, that's not our mistake. All the questions are from the town. And finally, if time allows, we will do a meet and greet after, which was another request. Let's not have questions from the floor. Let's have a meet and greet. So we're going to open the floor up to a meet and greet if time allows. But we're out of here at 8 o'clock. Okay, so we are only doing contested races. We invited all of the candidates to come. We invited all of the candidates to On 3 occasions, we wrote to all of the candidates and said, if you cannot make it tonight, please provide us with a statement. So, none of the library trustees, Stephanie Ciciotti, Kathy Benvey, or Mina Panassi, my apologies to Mina. Is her mother here? No, okay. So, I will read Kathy's, if you'll allow me, I'll read Kathy's statement. Thank you to the Chamber for the opportunity to submit this statement. As I'm unable to attend the forum in person this evening, as a 29-year-old Pembroke resident, I have used our wonderful library on a regular basis for a very long time. In addition, I happily spent the last 20 of my working years employed at the library, filling in positions as library aide, head of circulation, assistant director, and director, before retiring in December 2024. Prior to my library career, I owned and operated a small business. The combination of being a dedicated library supporter, having hands-on library work experience, and possessing a business background will allow me to be a successful library trustee of the Pembroke Public Library. I have witnessed firsthand our residents' commitment to the support of our town library. Our community wants to see our library continue to offer the best possible library service while continuing to evolve to meet our future needs. A successful and engaged trustee is part of the team and make sure that the library can live up to its full potential. I look to serve on this board so I can help. It would be my privilege. I respectfully ask for your vote. I hope I've done Kathy's words justice there and read it the way she would want to read it. So Mina Panassi, she also sends a statement. Pembroke Public Library and its staff have my whole heart. I understand the importance of education and the impact library services have on the community. As someone who works in education and has attended Pembroke public schools, public access to resources like books, movies, music, museum passes, etc., break down barriers and help our community flourish. I would love the opportunity to support the library's goals and further their mission. I ask for your vote for library trustee. Thank you. Again. I'm going to think better of showing you the next slide because it's blank. So let's move on to the Board of Health. We didn't get a statement from Stephanie, I'm afraid. Board of Health candidates, if you can step up, please. Thank you. Thank you, Jude. No Adam. Okay. So I'm going to skip Adam's opening statement. He didn't provide one. Let's go to Jude, your opening statement. Give me the thumbs up when you are ready.
Can I make sure this is working?
It will be. It's tuned to the same frequencies as this one, but give it a whirl.
Hello, testing.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
You can be heard.
Am I heard in the room? Okay.
Okay. Jude, welcome. You have 120 seconds, 2 minutes, starting when you give me the thumbs up. Off you go.
My name is Jude George, and I'm running for the Board of Health. I'm glad to be here tonight, and I appreciate the opportunity to answer questions from the community. Let me take a minute to tell you what I think I will bring to the job. I spent nearly 30 years in biotechnology. My title was scientist, but in practical terms, I had 2 jobs. I was the company's operations leader, and I managed people, budgets, and all the critical lab essentials needed to run the labs. And I was the company's tool builder. I was tasked with creating models from cells that we needed to produce reliable data that we used to validate new medicines for sick people. It meant working under pressure on tight timelines, often building the plane while flying it. But it also meant something more important, especially to me. I had to act with integrity every day on the job, and knowing that every decision had real-world consequences for people. That mindset, focused on precision and problem solving, is what I've carried into my life after retirement. Since 2023, I served as the water quality analyst for the Pembroke Watershed Association. I helped design and implement a new monitoring system for our ponds never before used. We collected data, and working with professional consultants, we guided this year's treatment plan for Furnace Pond to ameliorate the nonstop algae blooms we have in that pond, and we also want to keep them from spreading to other ponds. So that's who I am. I ask questions, I collect evidence, and I focus on solutions. And if elected, that's exactly how I'll serve you as a member of the Board of Health. And I thank you for your kindness.
Well done, Jude. Excellent. It's nerve-wracking on your own, isn't it?
It's nerve-wracking that I can't see the...
I've got a paddle.
What are you going to do with that? Oh, sorry.
Okay. So that was your opening statement, Jude. We actually only received 3 questions for Board of Health. And I just want to take a brief second to share something with you. I'm friends with the moderator of the Marshfield Chamber of Commerce event that they held. They received 3 questions in total. We had 3 just for the Board of Health. So I'm very proud of everyone who sent in questions. The town did a great job. However, the pressure starts now. Okay. Jude, when the state identifies Pembroke as a high-risk area for Triple E or West Nile, how do you weigh the benefits of large-scale mosquito spraying against the concerns residents who are wary of chemical exposure? Should the board always follow state-level spraying recommendations, or should we have local opt-out process? There's 2 questions in there. Far away.
Can I...
You can dance around the room if you like.
I'm actually a little more comfortable standing up. And I was trained as a scientist when you're speaking at a conference or something. If you're speaking in a place that's got only like 12 people, you sit down with them. But if it's more than 12 people, you stand up. That's just where I'm comfortable. So I would like to talk about mosquitoes. If time, I would also like to talk about birds and bees, but not the kind you're thinking when I say that. Let's talk about mosquitoes, because I think this is a really, really good example. It's an exemplar of how science works in our communities. Because we don't want, you know, the Agent Orange of spraying going on above our heads in all of our communities. But that's actually not how mosquito amelioration works. Mosquitoes are trapped in small traps in different places all over the state. And because science informs us about how mosquitoes behave in the wild, we're only interested in spraying where we find mosquitoes that have these particular pathogens inside them. So they're trapped, they're analyzed by DNA analysis, which is very accurate. And then you can have one Triple E mosquito in Plymouth, and you can have one Triple A mosquito in Rockland, and you're only going to spray the mosquito area where that mosquito brood was found, because you only want to hit the mosquitoes that are going to harm people. That's how really, really responsible public health on this topic is carried out. Mosquito spraying in large amount is not happy. Public's not happy about it, and it's also very expensive, and it's also wasted. So you're wasting chemicals on top of people's heads, and you're also not really getting at the problem, which is that one mosquito. So if I say anything tonight that is going to entice you about science, it's going to be this. I believe, and science believes, and what I want to bring to Pembroke is the diagnose and treat model of science. And it doesn't matter what the category is. It doesn't matter what the category is. We diagnose it, we measure it, we treat it, and then we only use as much intervention that we need to take care of that one problem. The fact that I can't be interrupted and I can talk as long as I want is very, very, very nice.
Not true, not true.
I don't know about that.
Because I'm a scientist, I want to use magic words and a whiteboard to tell you everything I know about a subject, but I will now go back to my place and entertain another question.
Just a quick question. How about as far as the opt-out, local opt-out process? Did you answer that?
I would say that, let me put it to you this way. If the state comes down here and they want to carpet bomb us with aliquot or anything that kills mosquitoes, I will stand in front of the plane, because I don't want that for our neighbors. I don't want that for my house. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for your children. So if the state somehow goes insane and wants to go away from their policy, I'm not going to say that can't happen, but you know, we're ready. If you put me on the Board of Health, I will stand in front of the plane and make sure that we do not get carpet bombed with pesticides in our environment, because I believe in a balance between humans and non-humans in our environment, and I will be the protector of that space.
Okay, well done, Jude. Question 2. What lessons have you learnt from the COVID pandemic aftermath, and how would you apply what you have learnt should a COVID-type pandemic hit our region again?
Okay. First of all, I want to say I have been to nearly 150 houses in Pembroke, canvassing and talking to constituents and talking to people in order to understand where the town was before I lived here. I wasn't here for COVID, but people are very, very, very happy, I'm going to say happy, to share their experiences with COVID. I experienced COVID very differently than the people of Pembroke. Not right or wrong, just different. I was in Cambridge, I was in Somerville, I was in Medford. I was working at Moderna when the COVID outbreak got to its height. I knew the people at Biogen who were at the meeting at the waterfront when the Italian planes landed and we had the first incident cases of COVID. So when the vaccine came out, people in my circle were like, yay! You know, this is great. And I could tell you, and I would love to tell you, but I'm going to respect your time. I would love to tell you about all the wonderful stories and all the wonderful application of scientists who stayed up late at night, overnight, in order to prepare the vaccine enough so that it could go out to thousands and thousands of people. I want to tell you that story. And you know what? I will tell you that story, because I'm going to knock on your door and I'm going to tell you that story. But what I started to understand when I came here and when I moved here 3.5 years ago, was people here experienced the pandemic very differently than I experienced the pandemic because of where I was living and who I was associated with. And I respect that. I absolutely respect that. I got a lot of very conflicted information from people about the vaccines, about masks, about what was going on and how people felt put upon. And what I'm hearing from the constituents, and I believe, is that you were not heard. You had doubts about the vaccine. You had doubts about if COVID even really existed. I get that. I understand that. And I understand it more now than I did before, you know, when I was experiencing the pandemic in my very, very different bubble. And I made a few notes talking to people, and I want to share them with you. Because I think it's important to be very clear about this topic, because I'm not going to say too much about it tonight, but I want to say a lot of it on my website. Off the coast in the Atlantic Ocean right now, there is a cruise ship with hantavirus. And I am following that very carefully. I'm following it on your behalf. I will follow this space on your behalf. And I remember saying to myself today, I said, oh no, here we go again. So I want to be very, very clear about this topic, okay? I understand that people were dismissed and people were not listened to. I will not be that person. I understand that the recommendations made to you were somewhat in a vacuum and they weren't made in clear language. I will make recommendations and I will talk about the science of the next thing in clear language. No acronyms, no shortages, no treating you like you're a dumb person who doesn't understand science and just has to go along with it. I will not do that. I will listen to everyone. I will make sure you're not dismissed. I will focus on clear goals for the town. What we can agree on is water safety and health. But if this comes up again, I will be the person who's watching the space. If you take one thing away from this forum tonight about me, I want to say this clearly. Cut the tape right now. I do not want you to get sick. I do not want your family to get sick, your children, the people that you love. And I will stand in the way of any policy that promotes people getting sick, and I will be the person who promotes the policy that is in line with all other public health policy that we followed in this country up until the last few years ago, which is to recommend things that you can do to protect yourself, and I will recommend the things that will keep the most possible people safe and healthy.
Very good. Thank you. Next question.
That was a long one, sorry.
Thank God you won't use acronyms. Question 3, final question. As our senior population grows, should the Board of Health expand its role into social and mental health outreach for seniors, or remain focused strictly on clinical services and sanitary inspections?
Well, this is an excellent question that when this question was going to be asked to me, I wanted to bring up the South Shore 5 Collaborative because I'm very excited about the South Shore 5 Collaborative and bringing that entity into the town. I know it's a new entity. I don't know a lot about it. I know I have a learning curve on the Board of Health, but I intend to tackle that learning curve as quickly as possible with the help of Lisa Cullity, probably the best health agent I've ever met in my life, and the other 2 board members. And I'll also say that I understand that I'm on a board with 2 other people, and I'm not going to make decisions for that board. I want to make sure that everybody knows I'm a collaborative person and that I will collaborate on the South Shore 5 Health. But I do feel like that's a resource the town can utilize most efficiently, especially for our senior services. And again, my answer to all questions when it comes to health is you diagnose the problem, you treat the problem. I can't give you a policy about this right now. I haven't found out what seniors are being affected by what. I haven't found out if there are more seniors that need us to go and check on them in a snowstorm, or if we have more seniors that need food aid and food assistance. But I will find out, and I will promote the board to find out. We will measure the problem that we have. We will apply the right solutions to it, and especially to our seniors, because our seniors, as well as our youngest members of the community, are our most vulnerable population. They're the population that founded the town. They are deserving of my respect since I am now in this class of people, and I want to make sure you know that this is just one of those things that I will diagnose and treat in the best possible way for the best possible outcome for everyone involved.
Thank you, Jude. I rarely enjoy sharing the stage with other people, but Jude, this has been quite entertaining having you dancing around up here. Closing statement. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'll sit down because of my vision.
Okay. 60 seconds on the clock. Let me know. You ready?
Well, I want to say that wasn't really as scary as I thought it was going to be. Because everyone's very, very friendly and smiling at me, so that made it very, very easy. So first I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for this forum, and my deep gratitude to Mr. Tochi and my deep gratitude to Fraser for these spirited questions. I really enjoyed answering them. I was prepared for 12 questions, which I always over-prepare. But I also want to thank you, Pembroke, for the absolute honor of going to your homes and talking to you about health. I could sit here all night and talk about these things in front of you and with you, but I want to invite you to just come to my Board of Health page and shoot questions at me if I've enlightened anything in your mind that you want to ask me about. But I came here tonight with 3 goals, and I hope I met them in your eyes. I hoped I convinced you that I am the most qualified person for this seat. I hope I convinced you that you can trust me to make recommendations based on the best available information to achieve the best possible health results. And I hope I convinced you that I represent the change that many, many, many of you expressed is badly needed in this town. Okay. And I thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Vanity hasn't taken my glasses off. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your help.
Thank you. Okay, so for this, one of the complaints we had last year was the order with which we set everything up, and it was deemed that we were being unfair. So today, for tonight, we were anticipating having 4 candidates. What we did is I gave Kevin Tocci a phone call yesterday, and I said, give me 1 to 4, randomize 1 to 4. He did not know, and I didn't know when he gave me those 4 numbers, that I was going to use the WATD promotional banner. And so I've applied the number 2 to Tara, obviously. Oh, sorry, correction. He came up with 2143, which means Tara goes first, Steve goes second, Chris goes third, and then Tracy will be last, and then that order will be reversed. So that's the way we have set this up. We will have, Steve and Tracy did provide us with opening statements, and Peter is going to read them on their behalf. So that's the way we've set it up. Oh, one other thing. We knew that Tracy and Steve liked board games. So we produced, remember earlier I said you're allowed 2 rebuttals? So we produced joker cards for the candidates to use for their rebuttals. There we go. So here are the joker cards. Tracy's got 2. If she doesn't use them, she can sell them. Chris, you have 2. If you want to rebut, just hold up your joker card. And
Thank you.
and Steve has 2 also, so if you want to buy those, they're a small fee. If you want to rebut a question, hold up your joker. Kevin will take it, allow you the rebuttal, but you have 2 shots. Okay, so Tara, you are first. You have 2 minutes. Give me a shout when you are. The 2 minutes is on the board. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm good.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to our Chamber of Commerce, Kevin Tocci, and to our community for hosting and participating in tonight's event. Forums like this are vitally important to the future of Pembroke because they give voters the opportunity to hear directly from the people asking to lead them. Over the past several weeks, one of the most common questions I've been asked is this. Some of the other candidates have served on boards and committees, but I don't know you. Why should I vote for you? And my answer is simple. While some people have been seated in front of a camera or a microphone, I've been in the galley and I've been out in the community. I've been listening, I've been learning, I've been asking questions, taking notes, and speaking up when I believed a voice of reason was needed. I spent years paying attention to Pembroke, where it's been, where we are now, and where we have to go next. I've spoken openly about issues that matter deeply to our residents. The VOTEC issue, bringing the right businesses to our town to alleviate the family tax burden, the BEST proposal, the growing division between boards and committees, concerns surrounding the town manager situation, and the loss of money that should have benefited our community. I haven't hidden my opinions. I haven't avoided difficult conversations because I believe transparency and accountability matter. And tonight matters. I'm here because I believe if you're asking for the trust of the people, you should be willing to stand before them, to answer their questions, and have honest conversations about the future of our town. Unfortunately, not every candidate made that choice tonight, but I did. Because the people of Pembroke deserve candidates who will show up, who will listen, and who will fight for their best interests every single day. I'm looking forward to answering your questions tonight, earning your trust, and continuing the work as a member of the Pembroke Select Board. Thank you. I'm nervous. I saw the paddle come out and got nervous.
Yeah. The paddle comes out at 20 seconds.
Oh, thanks, now.
So to everyone else, it comes out at 20 seconds. Okay. So Steve is being spoken by or read by Peter Brown. Again, Peter, let me know when you're ready.
Yep. Glasses. I remembered them today. And That's so awesome, because now instead of spending $600, I get 3 for $5, so it's cool. Ready.
Get ready.
Okay?
Yep.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Ciciotti, and I'm running to serve you as selectman. My wife and I purchased our Pembroke home in 2019, attracted to the open spaces, greenery, great water bodies, and diverse wildlife. We love the low-density suburban feel, low crime, and great public schools for our 3 children. We love the strong scouting tradition by which our family has been long involved. As a family of total book nerds, we also quickly fell in love with our Pembroke Public Library, which my wife, Stephanie, serves as chair and is on the board of trustees. It is on the ballot this year as well. And as our roots quickly deepened, I discovered something very special and unexpected. A strong and welcoming community with so many characters and so much life and history to go with it. I do not take what we all love about Pembroke for granted, and quickly after moving here, I embedded myself in the community. Since then, I've served the term as a select board, became a member and volunteered for our Pembroke Watershed Association and Pembroke Historical Society, served as vice chair of the committee, and helped develop our first Pembroke master plan in over 20 years. I was a liaison in the planning board and the ZBA, and currently serve on Pembroke's financial advisory committee, so I can help ensure our town's financial position and manage responsibility. I specialize and enjoy investigating challenges, solving problems, and optimizing structures that best serve what we're trying to achieve. This is a foundation upon which I built my career for years in the defense aerospace industry, an environment where failure is not an option and continuous improvement is not just a slogan. It's a requirement. And where I've managed to diverse operational teams of all sizes to my current role as principal level analysis.
Time, Peter.
If we want to drive action, ensure accountability, and get things done, then I bring an overgrowing set of skills, experiences, and perspectives to the table that few others can. Time? Thank you, Steve, for letting me read that.
Was there more?
No, there was, yes. Yeah, so.
Chris, let me know when you are ready, and I'll start talking.
I will begin speaking when I am ready.
Oh, okay.
I spent a lot of time lately thinking about what makes Pembroke special. For me, it's not just a town on a map. It's a place where I chose to plant our roots over 30 years ago. It's where I raised our 2 children, Kayla and Stephen. It's where they grew up in our schools and where I spent years on our local ball fields and football sidelines, helped building a foundation for our youth. Both my children currently have purchased and rent here in Pembroke. I'm running for select board because I've reached a point where I want to ensure that the Pembroke my grandkids grow up in is just like as strong and safe and as welcoming as the one that greeted my family 3 decades ago. I spent my life in service, whether it was in the U.S. Army or my 30 years in public safety. My entire life has been dedicated to leadership. U.S. Army, team leader, squad leader, platoon leader. As a community coach, and in the Department of Corrections, a line officer, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a shift commander. All have taught me leadership in the ways most will never experience. I have learned how to work within tight budgets, how to correct failing policies, and how to listen to people even when we don't agree. As a shift commander, I was responsible for a multi-million-dollar facility where the care and custody and safety and well-being of every person in that building rested on my shoulders. Those roles taught me that leadership isn't about a title. It's about the responsibility you have for the person standing next to you. Just like on the select board, respecting and keeping each other in check, working together collaboratively for our community. I love this town. I see the challenges we face. We are at a pivotal moment that we have aging infrastructure, tight budgets, and a critical need to maintain affordability for our young families, our seniors on fixed incomes. We need to be proactive, not reactive. It's managing our water master plan or creating smart bylaws to protect local control from state overreach.
Time.
Great job.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. Peter, you really don't have to move. No, he's going to move. He's going to be in Tracy's. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
If you gotta do it, you gotta do it, right? And I am very honored to do this, so,
So
yeah.
let me put.
So I am Tracy Marino, and I'm running for selectman for this year. During my 6 years on the board, has taken my responsibility as a leader and a representative of the residents seriously. Being on the board is not just about attending meetings or acquiring photo ops. It's about doing the work, much which goes unseen, making thoughtful decisions, wading through noise, and helping guide the direction of the town. It has always been my priority, a priority of mine, to bridge between the residents, employees, and businesses in the town. It is so important to me that people feel that I am approachable, accessible, and responsible. I share my contact information to direct access. I host regular coffee hours and try to attend as many events around town as possible. I especially enjoy partaking in all smaller events that are important to families here. I am regularly invited to Scout meetings to assist in badge requirements and for local government to celebrate Eagle Scout projects, to help with school events, and one of my favorite events is in the upcoming couple of weeks is organizing and hosting an annual 5th grade field trip where I can act as the tour guide through Town Hall, helping and teaching the kids about local government. A big part of my approach to leadership has been collaboration. I have consistently gone above and beyond, taking on multiple responsibilities and serving the additional roles to do my part in building a strong working relationship across the town government. I have served as liaison in the school committee, advisory committee, VOTEC exploratory committee, Pembroke Water Association, to name a few. I believe a good leadership means bringing people together, improving communication, and making sure we all move forward together. Before and during my time as on the board, I have served in various town communities and have volunteered throughout the community, from PTO, open space to Pembroke Education, Foundation to CPAC, and I'm completely invested in the town.
Time, Tracy.
So thank you.
Very good. Thank you for stepping in at the breach there, Peter. I hope Steve and Tracy appreciate your reading of their statements. Okay, question 1. So the moderator is going to decide how much time you get. He's going to decide whether you've answered the question or not. He's also going to decide who answers which question. And given that there's only 2 of you, it's going to be an easy back and forth. But I'm not going to. It's not my job. Okay, question 1. Like many communities, we are stuck between a fiscal rock and a hard place. To raise more revenue, we would need to increase taxes, tax rates, or expand the tax base. Expanding the tax base would threaten the small town nature that so many enjoy about Pembroke. Where exactly would you target new residential or commercial development? Or what other strategies would you employ to address our ongoing budget crises? There's a lot of people standing, and there's many, many seats down here at the front. Do you want to move to the front, or do you want to continue standing? They're continuing standing. Sorry, candidates. Kevin.
Christopher, you'll get the first question. So
Sounds good.
if you'll provide your answer.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Tachi. Economic growth in Pembroke isn't a happy accident. It's a result of deliberate long-term strategy outlined in our 26th master plan. We have slowly and systematically moving away from being a passive open space focused community towards a pro-business destination. By modernizing our infrastructure and simplifying our regulations, we create a town where small business don't just survive, they thrive. Our small businesses can grow if our infrastructure and population support them. We currently conducting an in-depth study of our most vital commercial corridor, Route 53 and 139. This isn't about just traffic, it's about assets management. By improving traffic flow, signage, pedestrian safety along Schoonet and Church Street, we can increase stop and shop potential for local retailers. As detailed in our 26 water system master plan, We are investing millions in capacity. Businesses like restaurants, small manufacturing need reliable high water quality. Our efforts shift from 1.3 million gallons per day to over 3 million gallons per day. Ensuring that business grows, the town resources won't be bottlenecked. We are prioritizing the roles of the planning board as an advocate for local businesses. This means clearer zoning bylaws and online permit process lets entrepreneurs focus on their customers and not town hall paperwork. Mixed-use development, our plan is to encourage infill development by allowing residential and commercial uses coexisting in our village areas. We can create an we can create an built-in customer base within walking distance of our local coffee shops and small offices. Under the Community Improvement Plan, we are aggressively pursuing state and federal grants, like multiple infrastructure grants, to find the curb appeal for business districts. Working much more closely with Old Colony Planning Council and their personnel and access to data, that information that far surpasses any gathering we as a community could obtain. For small business merchants, from Veterans Memorial Park to our local fundraising efforts, we create destination points in town. When people come to our parks and community events, they stay and eat at our local restaurants like Town Tavern, Blacksmith Tavern, the Alumni, and small local merchants. Our master plan is the blueprint for responsible growth, and we are protecting our town's character while small businesses have modern water systems, efficient roadways, and population that supports them. Local businesses need to be the backbone of Pembroke's economy, not the taxpayer for the next 20 years. Thank you.
Tara.
I actually love this question, right? It's where do we go and where have we been? So when you're looking at just the financial piece, you know, in 2004, specifically, our commercial tax burden was 16%, and it's down to 11, right? So it's not just about finding new business, right? We have to find the right business because charm matters here. That's why I moved here, right? I moved here because I love this community. I love the look of the town. I love the history of the town, and I love our open spaces, our waterways. The Herring Run was a great event the other day. You know, if you also look at the fact that 79% of our houses are single-family houses right now, we're missing out on building villages, as per mentioned, where we have townhomes, mixed residential with commercial use. You're literally, you know, we have a community of aging seniors who can't get to the center of town where most of their services are. So if we have those places in place where everything is kind of right there, you've got your neighborhood, you've got your community, you have a coffee shop, you have a corner store, you have they're locally owned, you know, inviting the businesses in that manner. Not just calling Best Buy and saying, hey, we would love to put a spot for you on the floor. I want to build traditions with small businesses in this town. I want to have them help alleviate the tax burden on our individual families by creating sales and bringing new people to our town. Our restaurants are destination stops right now. I want to see them produce more people. I want to see them be able to host events. I want to see our town be able to publicize and host more events. That brings people here. That shows people what our town has to offer. It absolutely gives the benefit of not just bringing in financial sales dollars, but also bringing in prospective new residents and growing our community because people do love it here, and we want everyone to know why, if that answers it.
Thank you.
Before I move on to the next question, and I'm not the moderator, but Chris, you seem to be reading from a script. You don't know these questions, right? You're just anticipating.
I don't know the questions, but
Okay.
I kind of, let's just say lather, rinse, repeat. The questions have kind of been the same, but I'm sure you'll get me on.
We'll have a go. Question 2. With limited staff and budgets, small towns often face a disadvantage compared to larger cities. How would you propose leveraging artificial intelligence as a force multiplier, and what guardrails would you want to see put in place to protect the town and its residents? These are your questions, everybody.
Tara, you get the first crack at it.
Fantastic. All right, so just literally looking at the AI component. we in this town don't have an IT department, right? So a lot of what you're seeing is being either produced by offshoots or contracted individuals. All of our repairs are being done that way. As far as your AI piece goes, there's no one in a cybersecurity manner to prevent that type of breach into our system. We don't have a cybersecurity team, as far as I'm aware, aside from a contracted individual. We have no way of telling AI versus real community involvement posts. We don't know. You know, some of our Facebook groups have AI supported or AI produced, but how is your average person going to see that? You may have 37 comments on a Facebook post about a misinformation post on, say, the town hall. Well, what if that misinformation post was created via AI? And it's not a real question, and it wasn't produced by one of our town people, but it's convincing people to see things in a way that they didn't see it before, and it might not be real. So for me, as far as guardrails go, I'm going to be looking at contracts as for your IT cybersecurity, for our town security, for the security of, you know, what's being breached into your computers at home based on something you clicked on Facebook. Having good conversations with our agent community who may not have those computer, what is it called?
Literacy.
I wasn't going to go that far, but the skills per se to know exactly what button not to click on. A letter from your Aunt Edna might not actually be Aunt Edna. It might be somebody who spoofed it. And so by better educating the people in our community on what AI actually looks like these days, I think that that is the guardrail to keep our town safe.
You're next, Christopher.
I didn't think that was coming.
Wow, that is quite a question. And honestly, I'm sitting here trying to think about how to do it, but AI is new technology, obviously, that is coming and is here and is continuing to grow by leaps and bounds by literally every minute. I don't feel that the replacing of the person is ever going to leave us. The fact that I just had a wonderful conversation with the assessor the other day, asking some questions in regards to how assessing is done and whatnot. But it was talking with a person there at the counter, that personal interaction. That's not AI. You can't get that with AI. It's that what you connect with the community. That is what concerns me in the sense of when you start talking about artificial intelligence and dictating what information is out there and where it came from with the cybersecurity. We need to be cautious of that, things coming from the town hall or breaching that. But if we're able to utilize, I feel one of the things, for example, let's just talk real quickly. The last few weeks, people have been complaining about brown water. And a lot of hydrant flushing has been going on. Not everybody knows where their hydrants are being flushed. If there was a way we could use AI for our advantage to get that message out to the residents, to go ahead and inform them, either email, phone call, whatever, to use that technology to our advantage, to let the residents know, hey, oh, by the way, tomorrow we're doing flushing in your area. I know it was scheduled for a week ago, but the schedule changed. And they need to be able to utilize that to be able to help notify it. As far as the, I'm going to go with that. That's it. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you, Chris. I'll be intrigued to see AI flushing. Question 3. As we see, this has got a common theme, as we see larger retailers and modernized convenience stores replace older establishments in the town center and along Church Street, how do you plan to protect Pembroke's small-town character while simultaneously encouraging the commercial growth needed to offset residential taxes?
Christopher, you get this.
Thank you. When I came to Pembroke 3 decades ago, it was a small community, open space, and it was the people that made it home. That's never going to leave this town. It will always be about the people. It will always be the charm that attracts us to Pembroke. When you look at our population, it is floated around the 18,300, give or take, forever. because people don't leave. And once you come to this town, and when I was door knocking and meeting with our community, I actually met someone that had been in, that was literally a lifer. They were born in this town, and they've been in this town ever since. And they were proud to say that they were going to die in this town. That's what this town is. So whether it's the small businesses or large corporation, I'll never anticipate off the top of my head, a Best Buy or something like that ever coming to here. But other smaller companies and things like that going ahead and coming in, like Big Y, it's a family-owned business. Yeah, they're a little bit on the larger side, but we're right here in the center of town, and the way that they have made their storefront look is home. And that's what our community is all about, home.
Tara?
Sure. You know, it's a fine line between big box and small town charm. For me, I think utilizing planning board, zoning boards, making sure that they have the structure in place to continue to hold our towns people, our future business towns people accountable for what we have in place already. The structure we have, the guidelines in place. Big Buy is a fantastic example of making sure that it fit in our community, by making sure the aesthetic is there, by making sure it doesn't have a giant neon sign facing into somebody's bedroom at night. Those are the things that keep your charm in place. It's not just saying we need money, bring you in. It's saying, okay, who's going to bring the best value to our town? Who's going to bring the best people to our town? And how are we going to see the most growth? Number of community projects between cleanups, beach cleanups, field cleanups, hikes, making sure that we are keeping pathways and the little trails we have, making sure that they're safe. You know, I've spent the most of my time doing that when it comes to being on this community awareness. In my previous life where I used to live, I spent a lot of time in pet rescue, dog rescue, on the board of directors for that. While I was there, I've spent time advocating for integration of special needs citizens into businesses, jobs, working for larger companies where they can bring their coaches in to help them, and then they can eventually fly on their own. And I look forward to, you know, just in my volunteer time, I've come to sit and watch committees discuss the future, discuss what we're doing. I've gone to board meetings, I've attended budget meetings, I have done what's it called when we collect food drives for those in need. I know I'm pushing the food towards people here. So for me, that's essentially, I have only been in town for about 4.5 years. I've been very lucky to, I volunteer at the school every Monday for my son's library, and then the kindergarten as well, because they didn't have a volunteer most days. I've stayed and helped some of the teachers do that. I've done school events with regards to field day, field trips, and then the upcoming Heritage Days. I'm also helping with that. So I'm always open for more. If you have things that you'd like me to join on, I love those things. I love to participate. So.
Christopher.
This strikes home, this particular question strikes home for me. Being a resident of this town for over 30 years, I took great pride. The very first thing that I started was Pembroke Youth Football. I was on the original e-board that created Pembroke Youth Football. I'm very proud of that. One of the other things that I did also when I was actually a coach for Pembroke Youth Football is we actually we broke it down into a much simpler game plan, but we used the high school's playbook, and we started using the high school's terminology between their junior varsity and varsity program. We actually brought in the varsity team, various position kids, high school kids, to work with the youth, to go ahead and start having those younger kids, because it was supposed to be a feeder program for understanding what high school football was going to prep them for. When my kids got a little bit older, when they started going into different sports, my son Steven wanted to play baseball. He was done with football, and it was time to go ahead and coach baseball. It was time to work with him on that. When my daughter wanted to do softball, guess what? Guess who the coach was? You got one guess, it's right here. But that's what you do. One of the other things that I also did is working with kids in teaching them how to run, how to go ahead and create speed. Speed is taught, not just walking faster. So going beyond that, once the kids got old enough to go ahead and take care of their own activities and they could drive themselves, I concentrated on my career. But then I started getting back involved in the town again. When I became the chair of the Pembroke Historical District Commission, I learned of Veterans Memorial Park and how that project fell by the wayside. As a veteran, that made me angry. And I said, how can we fix this? So I created the Pembroke Foundation. I'm sure most of you have heard about it. We are a nonprofit organization here in town, Pembroke Helping Pembroke. That is what we do. Our very first project was going ahead and generating funds for Veterans Memorial Park. Our second project was actually helping the Pembroke Food Pantry. Our third project, which happened because of the light tower that fell down for Pembroke Youth Baseball and Softball. Parents need that light tower back up again because it affects their lives. They're expecting their children to be able to play their games at night after possibly mom and dad get home. But now they have to play their game in the afternoon. Now you're figuring out where carpooling is. So I've been involved in that. This town is very important to me, so when you go ahead and start talking about community events, it's all about this community. And I'm proud to be part of this community, and I'm looking forward to being on your select board. Thank you.
Very good, Chris. Thank you. Question 5. See if you can answer this one. Oh, following the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Tracy Marino used her position as chair to lead the select board and all in attendance in a moment of silence. Kirk was a controversial figure with a history of espousing racist and sexist beliefs. So this is not the opinions of the select board, Chamber of Commerce. So it struck many when just months later the same was not done in the wake of Rennie Goods and Alex Pretty's deaths. In your view, when is it appropriate for the Pembroke Select Board to honor a national figure without local ties?
Christopher,
I don't expect much time on this.
would you like to take a
No.
minute to, no? Okay. Pass it to Tara.
But I'll take it. You selected me first. That's fine. Just trying to be funny, but anyways, I don't feel that the chair should have done that at that moment in time. It wasn't appropriate. I understand that various individuals are attracted to their particular role models or people they'll use for guidance or things like that. Stick to what you should be doing. That's running our town. That's what's important. Paying remembrance for a figure like that or the other names that are listed on that in this question, stick to the town. Don't get me wrong, if it was, unfortunately a tragic of the current president or the current governor, somebody like of that statue, fine. That can hit home. Other individuals, I'm sorry. Stick to what you do, run our town, stick to the select board. Thank you.
Tara?
To me, the question is pretty simple. What's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. If you're going to do something for one person unrelated to the town of Pembroke, then you must do for all. So either we hold a moment of silence at the beginning of every meeting for everyone who's been passed, or we don't hold it at all. I agree if it was the President of the United States, if it was the governor, if it was a local political leader, talent, not to point at the talent, then yes, absolutely. I think that that's the right thing to do. I think that it created more division in an already divided group, in an already divided town, and it shouldn't have happened, and I don't believe that I would participate in that once I'm on the select board.
Thank you. Again, we did not screen any. In fact, I have to make a point. We screened one question and one question only. And the question came in saying who won the 2020 election. we really didn't feel that that was appropriate because we weren't sure. Well, we weren't sure who was. Oh,
It's,
Oh, yeah, you take
let
the
me
card.
I didn't ask
rephrase.
the question.
It's not a rebuttal.
Okay.
It is an addition. And if Tara would like an addition, that would be fine.
Why, thank you.
The addition is, I also agree with Tara in what she had just said. The fact of it increased division in our town. We don't need that. We need healing in this town. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. Question 6. What will you do for the town's citizens to reduce their costs of being a resident in Pembroke?
Tara?
You know, I'm not going to be glib on that. It's a huge concern. Rising costs and increased tax burdens, increased gas prices. What was that? I think I paid $4.59 today for gas. We're going to come into the winter when we have to face heating oil costs. It's a huge concern for every member of town. Not just those who have not, but those who have as well, because they still have to provide for their families. For me, again, it's about looking at building the infrastructure of our town, creating commercial growth in the right space. Also looking at, we were talking about infrastructure. Water is a huge, I'm sure we'll have 5 on water soon. Looking into grant opportunities, looking into how we can lessen the tax burden on our residents. I'm not sure if we're going to get into it, so I'm hesitant to bring it up, but I have something that I prepared as well. So,
Just a quick timeout.
Sorry, just a quick timeout. I do apologize. This is a technical glitch. There was more to that question.
Oh,
And the person who
Please
asked that
hold.
question, I don't want them thinking we've cut them or they've asked for no talking point. To answer that the business will solve our financial problems. This is a trickle-down answer and has well
So your
been
time will
proven.
restart.
So I apologize to everybody. That is a mistake on my part.
yeah, I mean, I think that what I had said was fine going into it. I mean everything I said, but I really wanted to add, we're referencing our aging community a lot because the financial burden on all of the things that we have planned right now, the new center building, the public safety buildings, those are huge concerns, as well as, I'm sure VOTEC's going to come up too. We'll get to that. But I have a vision for the future of Pembroke, and especially this week, I've spent a lot of time out with neighbors and local experts lately. The Chamber, actually, the podcast with the Bethany family was very informative. ADUs are something that we've recently taken hold of and paid for. And it also gains them more access to having people around them. As a senior and in a financial burden, having somebody who may be there to help them with their care needs, whether it's lawn care or shoveling because they have another dwelling in their property. It's just a really good way to keep the community whole while offering a financial opportunity to people who just didn't have that option before, and to continue to build a community of people who can help find out how to do it, help resource the funding, and then to keep up with the discussion about maybe building more. That's where I live on that.
Christopher, you get the entire question.
Yeah.
Would you like the question again, Christopher?
I talked a lot, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so what will you do for the town citizens to reduce their costs of being a resident in Pembroke? Please do not use the talking point answer that business will solve our financial problems. That is a trickle-down answer and has well been proved business doesn't lower taxes. That's an opinion.
So I talked about it pretty much in my opening statement about being a leader. One of the things about being a leader is sometimes a leader has to give bad news. The bad news is very simple. Cost of everything is not going down. While I was door knocking and listening to the residents and listening to people saying, I'm on a fixed income. And I says, I understand that. Now, do you understand that the town is also on a fixed income? What do you mean? The resident would say. Well, think of it this way. The household family name of Pembroke has 18,000 children, and that's it. Those 18,000 children need to be able to go ahead and generate an income to support that household, just like your household. We're all in this together. If we can go ahead and generate a program, then we can go ahead and do that. But in all honesty, until inflation on a national level or things at a state level help us to make our dollar go further, it's not going to happen. My gas bill, just like the town's gas bill, just like your gas bill, are all the same. We're all in it together, the family of Pembroke. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Question 7. What are the 2 or 3 things a member of the Pembroke Select Board can do to generate new business opportunities, investment in community, and substantially grow new tax revenue? Kind of a flip of the last question, so I'm not the moderator.
Christopher, first option.
I'd like to just refer to my notes here just for a quick moment, if I may. So when we talked about earlier my statement that we have a master plan as compared to the original master plan, unfortunately, looking back on the original master plan of really trying to cherish open spaces, we kind of shot ourselves a little bit in the foot, I'm sorry to say, over that period of time. We lost out on opportunities of business growth. We also needed, one of the first things that a small business will go ahead and do is just like Tiny and Sons, I'm sure, well, probably not Tiny and Sons, he's really lived in the town too much, but using a different business that wanted to come in, what's the first thing they do? They put the tack on the map and they circle around it and they say, how many people live in this circle? How many people can we attract to that business? Well, with all that open spaces, there's no population there. This is why you've seen our areas grow, like in North Pembroke, the 139, the 53 corridor. That's where most of your heavier businesses are. And having that help grow and increase that by working on our infrastructure, improving our water like I talked about earlier, making it available for restaurants, increasing those flows to go ahead and make that happen. I just remember seeing a Facebook post, unfortunately, a few days ago, the alumni had to go buy ice. They couldn't use their own ice. Restaurants shouldn't have to do that. They should have safe, reliable water to go ahead and do that. So a new business coming in would want to be able to have that. So that's what we do to go ahead and make business opportunities is improve our infrastructure, increase our population, make it attractive for those businesses to come to our town. Thank you.
Tara?
Sure. You know, it's not an easy question, thankfully. We got a few minutes to answer it. In my opinion, and I've been kind of, for the last several years, just trying to figure out what the right answer to this question is. How do we grow business without, changing? I truly believe that a town planner is something that we need to put into place. Somebody who can seek out the right commercial business to come through, somebody who can work out some grant money to work actively on bringing more money into our community versus putting out. I think that, when talking about the master plan, it's fantastic, but it has to be enforced. Well, as my job as select board, I would be enforcing that master plan and making sure that timelines are staying on target, costs are staying within boundary, especially in this time of inflation. And I think that, our water infrastructure is one of the things that makes us uninviting to some commercial businesses right now. We just don't have clear water. Like, it seems so impossible to say. And, thankfully, we do have a plan in place. I believe it was about 3 years to fruition for it clean water. So once our water is in place, the flow is better. Our pipes are changed out, and I think we're doing about 5 miles per year right now, which is almost double what any other project is doing as far as water pipe changes goes. We have the structure in place to really, truly invite people in. We have the town planner, which I think is going to be crucial to our growth and safety financially through our town. Those are the things that I would do, will do, once I'm on the board.
Thank you. So just to be clear, we are doing pretty good for time. This is our last full question, and then we're going to introduce a round of quick fire. Which Kevin's going to really struggle with to moderate this. Well, it's quick fire.
Fraser, I have a question. How come I only got one card?
You had it was stuck together?
I only got one.
Sorry. It's the Joker.
Yeah, well, evidently.
I mean, we have spares on the table in
Yeah.
case you want to borrow one of those.
I just thought it was one, and then I saw everybody else had two. I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
what
no,
happened
no, no.
there? Oh, there we go.
It was
Thank you.
probably stuck.
Thank you, my bad. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin.
Okay. So final full question. And again, there's a pretty strong theme coming in from the residents of Pembroke. With costs increasing year over year, additional funding is crucial to any town budget. How will you ensure that the town manager investigates and pursue any grants or state funding that may be available to the town of Pembroke? Will you hold the town manager accountable if all avenues are not investigated?
Tara, you'll get to answer this one first.
Perfect, thank you. So I just referenced a town planner. That would be somebody who would work within our town with our town manager in order to find additional grant monies, that type of thing. What I would do is follow the lead of the contract we've just created, right? So I think that historically, there wasn't enough oversight, follow-through, check-in, and completion of projects when it came to the select board communication with the town manager. Not all of them, but it's been what we've noted in the last year specifically. And I'm not sure what 10 years ago happened, but that's where we are. So for me, I've managed people for the last almost 30 years. It's what I do. And you can't have a project, have expectations, and not give the project and the expectations to the person who's responsible for committing to them. I plan on being very open and transparent, much like we're doing here tonight, but also with the board and the town manager about where we are, what we need to do, and how to get there. I will hold them accountable, as I've done for the last almost 30 years with every team I've had. And I will be honest with the community with regards to where we stand, because I don't know that I've seen that as a resident in Pembroke. You know, specifically when we came into last year's additional funding, I know a lot of residents were left feeling ignored for their perspective on that. I won't do that. I will be available. I will be accountable because I work for you. I work for the town of Pembroke. I work for the people who've elected me into this role. I'm not doing my job if I'm not here for you, and I'm certainly not watching the town manager do his job if I'm not there for them. You know, he manages a building full of people with regards to all of the infrastructure in our town. I have to manage him. We have to manage him. That's what that looks like. So I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, I'm happy to keep talking.
It's their question, not
That's their
ours.
question.
If somebody here asked that, feel free to pop up and ask me for something else.
Christopher?
Thank you. One of the things that I definitely, you know, everybody keeps saying, because this seems to be the hot button in town the last few months, is, oh, you need to hold the town manager accountable, hold the town manager accountable, hold the town manager accountable. Just lather, rinse, repeat the same thing over and over and over. How about the select board hold each other accountable? I like to look at it as a 6-person board. We all work collaboratively together with a common goal of our town. That's what we need to do. So in my process of learning of what happened or how do we make things better, I mentioned it earlier. Old Colony Planning Council. Pembroke has not utilized what Old Colony Planning Council does. It was actually pretty surprising that once we finally started getting our name out there and actually started utilizing it, how much better things have gotten, and at least being available to get the information. It's a simple phone call. It's a simple email. Where are we with these grants? And the best part about it is trying to find a grant writer, they'll help you. They'll do it. It's just communicating what your needs are and then listening to what they're trying to do with other towns as well and working collaboratively possibly with those towns. You know, just pulling an example. Say the town of Hanover is looking for new insurance to go ahead and lower costs. Well, now you go ahead and abut with Hanover and you work collaboratively with Hanover and combine and you go together with other towns for insurance purposes, for example. Going ahead and putting those together. Old Colony Planning Council is talking about doing a lot with infrastructure and getting grants for that and helping out with historical things in regards to town and helping putting those informations and those grants and those monies out there. But you know what? You got to pick up the phone and you got to ask. That's what is holding each other accountable and going ahead and working collaboratively together. Thank you.
Terrific. So I've actually just been informed, you guys are very lucky. The YouTube channel, the audio has dropped. So channel 9 is working, so people watching on Verizon or Comcast are going to be fine. But what we'll have to do is reissue the YouTube. We have got the audio, everything's going to sync, so you're hearing it here live. Quick fire round. Brace yourselves.
Wait,
Whoa.
are
If
there
I,
rules to the quick fire
well,
round?
and
before we
if-
get
Yeah,
started?
you have to answer.
if I may,
Yeah.
if I can jump in
Sure.
here.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 25 years, being a part of political forums. And while we have a smaller group of candidates tonight, and they were able to answer without me having to jump in because we have plenty of time here, the one thing that candidates struggle to do, depending on the nature of the question, is to give a yes or no answer or answer in 1 to 2 sentences. I will have no problem stopping you if it's a run-on question. So whatever the nature of the question is, beware.
Sounds good.
He's a lot tougher than I would have been. So here we go. Will you commit to conducting your campaign and public engagement transparently, and to not posting, contributing, or coordinating with anonymous accounts that attack others?
All right, so this, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a yes or no question.
It
no,
is.
yes, and whatever. Am I right?
Yes.
All right, so,
Yes.
Tara? Yes.
Yes.
Christopher? Okay.
Who should be making the
Oh, okay, good.
Who should be making the decision regarding the best location on Scousett Street?
I think this is a 1 to 2 sentence question.
Well, I think
That's a
they're looking for
paragraph
who.
question.
Who is
Yeah.
making the decision?
But I think you say who, but that they can also fill in what.
Remember,
the
we're in
moderator.
an appeal board situation right now, so.
So, let's go with Christopher.
Who should be making the decision best regarding the best location? Planning.
Simple enough. Tara?
Was this a yes or no, or do I get a sentence?
No,
Say,
you get,
say who
give
you
a
think
sentence.
should be making the decision.
I believe planning is the correct answer for that. I just want to add to it, the fire chief has been very, very clear on his standards for approval of the permit, and I will defer to him when it comes to that.
Okay.
Very good. Do you support Pembroke joining South Shore Technical Vocational School?
Another yes or no question. Christopher?
Yes.
Yes.
Tara?
Okay.
What's spelled wrong? Can we disregard?
No, I'm not going to do that. I am not editing the questions. What is your stance on biological males playing in girls' sports teams?
This is a 1 to 2 sentence answer. Tara?
I defer to science on that. I defer to the people who've made their stance clear on what's acceptable or not. I'm not a scientist. I'm also a former athlete, so I can only speak to what I would like to be there. I go with science.
Christopher? 1 to 2 sentences.
I'll refer to MIAA. They hold the regulations to it.
Very good. Thank you. The recent storm left us with $1.1 million deficit. Should we expect an override to cover this?
Was that yes or no, or was that one sentence?
I'll tell you what, 1 to 2 sentences, within yes or no as a caveat.
Me or Chris?
With you.
Perfect.
Tara.
I've spoken with and I've attended meetings with the town manager who has stated that he is not expecting an override at this time.
Christopher.
No, no override.
Very good. Okay, so that's actually it from the questions point of view. We should therefore hand over to the candidates for their closing statements. Before I do that, I want to thank Kevin Tocci for being a fabulous moderator. I want to thank again the library for accommodating us. I want to thank the local scene for all of their technical efficiencies tonight. Most importantly, I want to thank the residents. I want to thank the people that have shown up as witness to what we're doing. I want to thank the residents who sent in questions, and I want to thank everybody who's tuned in. I think that's it. Okay. So, on to, there is no closing statement from Tracy, so we'll move on.
Just out of curiosity, since we have so much extra time, can we have longer time?
Can we have what?
Well, that's
Just
the meet and
asking.
greet. I think that we're going to have
What's the question?
community time.
No, no,
We're having meet and greet.
Oh, you
Oh,
mean
no,
on
no.
your closing?
On the closing.
Oh,
No,
Can we lose the stopwatch?
I don't think
Just
that's...
asking.
Well, okay. I don't know. You're the moderator.
You should be able to sum it up in 60 seconds. You had the 2 minutes at the opening, so.
So, am I up first or is
You
Tara-
are.
You
up
are first,
We
yes, 'cause
reversed.
Tara
We
went first.
reversed.
All right. Sorry.
So, Chris, your 60 seconds is up. Give
All
me
right,
a...
well, then I'm just going to take away the thank you then for you guys, so I don't lose that. So, all right, you're on your
You
own.
can thank me later, Chris.
All right,
Thank me later.
There we go. For over 3 decades, I have called Pembroke home. I have poured my heart and soul into this very foundation. From the grit it takes to pull off a local fundraiser to the honor of revitalizing our Veterans Memorial Park, for our community and heroes, my commitment is absolute. We have talked a lot tonight about plans and budgets, but it's our people who make up the heart of Pembroke. We are neighbors who show up for each other. We support our communal events, and I believe that spirit deserves a seat at the table. My professional life has been defined by the safety and stability of our community. As a U.S. Army veteran and a retired shift commander, I don't just manage problems, I solve them. I spent a lifetime learning that true leadership is rooted in accountability, strategic planning, and listening to people. With that discipline to see the mission through till the end. We have formulated a blueprint for our economically driven master plan, or our water master plan, a robust new bylaw. You should never make a reactive or an emotional decision. We will be proactive and prevent issues from arising. I am running to be your advocate. I am not a politician. I am offering you clear communication, transparency, and a leader who has the courage to take action and, more importantly, stand behind those actions.
Time.
Sorry, Chris.
Tara.
thank you.
Sorry.
Got to make it green.
Yeah. I've also got to change it to your name. Okay, 60 seconds when you're ready.
During this campaign season, you've heard a lot of promises, a lot of opinions, and a lot of talking points. But at the end of the day, leadership comes down to something simple: showing up. If you want the job, you show up for the interview. You show up to answer tough questions. You show up because you respect the people you're asking to trust you with this responsibility. You cannot lead this town through a social media post. You cannot serve the people of Pembroke by sending in answers after the fact. Leadership requires accountability, presence, and the willingness to stand before the voters directly. I'm here tonight because I value your time. I'm here because I respect this community. And I'm here because I'm ready to start working from day one. Pembroke deserves leaders who are present, accessible, and committed to earning your trust face to face. I chose Pembroke with my family, not just because of the charm, although that's huge, not just because of the schools, although that's important, and not just because of the green space, which I spend most of my time in. I chose Pembroke with my family because of you. Everyone in this room, everyone watching at home, and everyone who's made Pembroke their home first. I'm looking for your vote on May 16th.
Thank you.
I didn't get to say that. If
Candidates,
I would like to say just 10 seconds of airtime.
do you have your
Firstly,
rebuttal
please
card?
thank the Pembroke Chamber
He
of
does have a-
Commerce.
You do have a rebuttal card. Hold up your rebuttal card.
What's that?
Card. Give him the card.
Rebuttal card.
I'm going to use the card, really, for that. I just want to thank the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event, and our moderators, Kevin Tachi and Fraser Townley. Thank you, please.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, everyone, again.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You mean this one?
Are we still on while we're doing this? Just making sure.
Should we hold up our Joker cards?
Judy, you can be the Oreo. You can be the ham and the sandwich. How about that?
There you go.
My mother was simple.
Just shimmy, like in a movie.
Hey, it's all right.
You're hosting.
We're all good on the marketing.
You might want to come from here, Peter, so you get everything.
Thank you. Chris, great job. Thank you.
Anybody got a question? Come on up, please.
You did get extra 15 seconds after, so I just wanted to kind of jump in there.